What if the most important Templar operation did not happen in secret vaults, or on distant seas, or in whispered rituals beneath stone floors, but in plain sight, after the king had already given the order to destroy them? What if the real mystery is not what the Templars hid before the arrests, but what they quietly moved after the noose was already tightening? Because history tells you that on a single Friday, the arrests fell like thunder. But history is strangely quiet about the weeks that followed. Quiet in a way that feels deliberate. Quiet in a way that suggests motion without noise. And tonight, that silence is where we begin. So let the tension soften just a little. Let the imagined clang of prison doors fade into the background. We are not running now. We are listening. Listening for footsteps that were never recorded. Listening for decisions made calmly, patiently, while everyone else believed the story was already over. You are stepping into the final calm before a historical storm, a period that textbooks often glide past with a shrug and a date. Yet this calm is deceptive. It is filled with unanswered letters, delayed officials, half-empty buildings, and ledgers that suddenly stop speaking. You are not here to chase legends of grails or curses or hidden bloodlines. You are here for something quieter and far more unsettling. You are here for the months when an entire military order seems to have obeyed its execution schedule just loosely enough to slip through the cracks. Picture the world of the early 14th century not as a frozen tableau of knights and kings, but as a living network of roads, rivers, ports, inns, monasteries, and messengers. Picture men trained to wait, to calculate, to move only when movement mattered. This is a story about timing rather than treasure, about patience rather than panic. It is also a story about how authority travels slowly while rumor travels fast, especially when it has something to lose. And yes, it is faintly ironic that an order famous for vows of obedience may have perfected the art of not being where they were expected to be. History has a sense of humor like that, and it tends to use it sparingly. Before we venture further into the shadows, take a moment to subscribe so you never miss a secret that history has tried to forget. Settle in now. The fire is low, the night is long, and the months everyone ignored are about to speak. The story usually rushes from a royal seal to iron chains, as if authority moved at the speed of thunder. Yet when the orders went out from the French crown, they did not land everywhere at once, and they certainly did not land with equal force. The commands traveled by hand, by horse, by riverboat, and sometimes by men who had other errands to finish first. This is not speculation, but a well-established fact drawn from surviving arrest records which show that while Paris moved swiftly, other regions lingered in a strange administrative twilight. In some towns, the arrests happened within days. In others, weeks passed. In a few places, months quietly slipped by. The silence you felt earlier did not come after the arrests everywhere. In many corners of Europe, it came before them. You can imagine the scene without much effort. A sealed letter arrives at a local court. The seal is impressive, the language severe, and the intent unmistakable. But intent and execution are old acquaintances who rarely arrive together. Officials had to verify orders, consult bishops, gather manpower, and sometimes wait for market day so enough guards would be available. Medieval bureaucracy was many things, but brisk was not one of them. Even the most loyal servants of the crown lived in a world where tomorrow was often negotiable. This gap between command and compliance created something invaluable: time that officially did not exist. Here, the obscure details begin to whisper. In certain dioceses, records show that inquiries were received but not acted upon until additional confirmations arrived. Some clerks dated documents days after they were supposedly enforced, as if unsure which calendar mattered more, the king's or their own. Scholars still debate whether these delays were simple inefficiency or something more deliberate. Were local authorities quietly buying time, or merely trapped in the comfortable habit of hesitation? The paperwork refuses to confess either way, which is precisely what makes it interesting. Think back to the earlier image of empty halls and orderly rooms. That atmosphere does not belong to a sudden collapse. It belongs to something staged with patience. When orders remain in transit, the world behaves as though nothing has changed, even though everything has. The men who received early warnings did not need chaos. They needed calendars. They needed to know how long silence could stretch before it snapped. And they were very good at counting days, which comes with being entrusted with rents, tithes, and obligations that never forgive lateness. There is a persistent scholarly question that hovers here like a candle flame refusing to go out. Did anyone inside the order know with confidence how much time they truly had? Some historians argue that no central estimate could exist because enforcement was too uneven. Others counter that experienced administrators could read the pattern almost instinctively, understanding that the further one moved from the king's direct reach, the looser his grip became. The truth likely sits uncomfortably between those views, which history prefers to do, like a cat choosing the exact center of the doorway to nap. It is worth noting gently and without drama that the crown itself did not fully control the tempo it had unleashed. Once letters were dispatched, the king was reliant on others to act in his name. Those others had farms to run disputes to settle, and in some cases old friendships with the very men they were meant to arrest. None of this proves conspiracy, but it does prove friction. And friction, when applied to time, produces opportunity. There is a quiet irony here that deserves a small smile. A military order trained for sudden action found its greatest advantage in delay, while a powerful monarchy discovered that issuing orders was easier than watching them arrive. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the administrative sighs echoing through stone corridors. Tomorrow, someone says. After Sunday, says another. History is shaped by such phrases more often than by swords. As you settle into this realization, remember the earlier question about movement without noise. Movement does not always mean marching. Sometimes it means waiting while others hesitate. Sometimes it means